you all. I hope you all are doing really, really well. And so in this video, I'm going to be talking with you all about this topic. And I'm also going to be pulling some cards to see into a little bit of certain categories of Meghan and Harry, celebrities in general. If you are already subscribed, thank you so much for all the support. And if you are new to my channel, welcome. Before I pull some cards, I'm going to be giving a little bit of a summary up until now of everything that's transpired, with Harry and Meghan. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So as we all know, they had their daughter, Lilibet Diana. She's here, she's in the world. And, I kind of, honestly speaking, you all, I really want to speak from my heart about a couple things as well that are also tied to Meghan and Harry, but more so in general, okay? So, for me, it really feels, you all, like the more, especially with the pandemic, the more that time has passed, it's beginning to feel like a lot of these celebrities do not want to be celebrities anymore. I don't know what's in the water. I don't know what's transpired from the pandemic, but it's becoming so clear, that these people, whether they're royal or just celebrity or whatever, that they don't like their life. There's many layers to being in the public eye all the time. And, looking back to everything we've seen with Harry and Meghan, I'm really beginning to question, if it's worth it for these people. Not to sound kind of funny or rude or anything in any way that would offend anybody, but it's kind of a situation now where if you don't really have any specific talent or thing to give the world, just being famous for being famous is kind of like null and void, So in a way, I kind of, I'm looking at celebrities, more so real artists or entrepreneurs or, people who put something out in the world, with a fine-tuned coat and a fine-tuned lens. I'm looking at all this very differently. We've had the whole Britney Spears thing happen yesterday, with Britney going to court and speaking out about what she's experienced as a celebrity, as an artist, as a singer, as a performer, as a dancer, as an actress. Britney did movies as well, and it's been a tragedy. A lot of these people, whether royal life or celebrity life, what we're seeing is tragedy after tragedy after tragedy. And unfortunately, there's so many, I think, especially artists, like especially in the music industry, for me, I feel like there's so many amazing people who have something to give the world, but they're dying so soon. They're disappearing into thin air. They're not around anymore. They're dead pretty much. And if they're not dead, they're normally in rehab or strung out. And when it comes to the media and in the press, they're struggling. They're struggling with anxiety. They're struggling with depression. And this is a real thing. But in terms of Harry and Meghan, I think what's so disappointing for me, on a professional and personal level is, if you're so tired of, being in the paparazzi lens or always being famous or having all this money or whatever, then you should make the necessary changes. And I think what I'm beginning to realize now is that, moving to California, like California is such a celeb hub, circus. Like everybody that goes to California, to LA, um, is is a lot of times in hopes trying to become famous, trying to become well known. A lot of people try to go there to get their career started, to get discovered. So I think that celebrities who have been in the game for a much longer period of time, if they're smart, they're not going to post as much. They're going to be going to islands. They're going to be going away. They're going to be trying to get away from the attention. And so I think what is so confusing for me with this whole Harry and Meghan thing is the fact that it's a double whammy, you know? It's the celebrity and the royal all wrapped up in one. And there's nothing that we can do to stop this train. There's nothing we can do to stop what we're seeing in real time. Like every year, it's gotten worse. So, from the very beginning, I was shocked. From the very, very beginning, I was very shocked to see what I saw on the cards. And now that they have two kids, um, it's now that they have two kids, it's almost like I'm beginning to question, um, how is life going to look like for this couple in California? Um, Still, every now and then, here and there, going to royal events, but then on the exact opposite end, they're in one of the most popular places, the most busiest places, the most well industrialized media hub places on the planet. And so, how do you escape that? How do you escape living somewhere where everybody is watching you and wanting a piece of you? And then how do you escape, being in England amongst the Queen and amongst, Catherine and William and other leaders of the free world? So there seems to be no peace. There seems to be no balance. And so what I'm going to do with the cards is, we have updates, okay? So now we have the update that Prince Charles has been still funding their lifestyle, right? We finally caught wind, and it's been confirmed. We'll see if there's any other reports that negate that, but it has absolutely been confirmed that Prince Charles has still been supplying their lifestyle. So a lot of things that Harry was complaining about doesn't seem to be relevant, because if they're still getting money, then here's my thing, right? If you're still getting funded by the royal family, do you really have to do all these interviews? Do you really have to do every single deal that is presented to you? Can't you just live off your father's money? I mean, call it freeloader, call it whatever you want, but if the family, if Meghan, if Harry are genuinely so concerned, about being in the public eye, to me it's a no-brainer, right? To me, it's like three simple things. You don't live where there's a bunch of paparazzi or people who are going to be intruding your privacy. Number two is you keep a low profile. And number three is you conserve. You don't wear flashy things. You're not going to be in the newest car, the newest, mansion. You're not going to be moving all over Beverly Hills and Calabasas and Hidden Hills. Like, you're not going to be on a high profile level. You're going to be on a low profile level. You're going to be wanting to protect your home more, protect, private moments that go on between you and your husband or you and your kids. You're not going to be posting that. So for me, it's getting to a point where I can't even use the word sad, because Harry was born into this. So how can I say that it's sad? How can I say that I feel entirely sad when a good reason to feel sad is if every bit and bop is in the person's control. If it's not in that person's control, it's kind of like a mentality of, well, deal with it. Like, this is what you're a part of, so you got to deal with it. So I don't want to use the word sad. The word I would use is, what word would I use for their situation? Well, tragic. Tragic. I think that it's a tragic situation. I mean, because I can't, I like emotionally, it's confusing because the behavior that they have exhibited confuses me. Because, like I said, if I was in their shoes, I would not go to California. But I'm not in their shoes, thank God. So I don't know in that exact moment of them stepping down. It's hard to wrap your head around all the emotions that they went through, and I can't sympathize. Unfortunately, with Harry and Meghan, I can't sympathize and say that I know what it feels like to be a royal and then to be an ex-senior royal and then to be basically a celebrity. I don't know what that feels like. Okay, I don't know what that feels like. Only Harry and Meghan know what it feels like. So I'm not going to disrespect them and try to say what is factual in terms of their feelings and their motives. Because I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I really don't know. And what I kind of want to recap on my channel with you all is the fact that from the very beginning of me covering this couple for fun and genuinely just being happy that, Harry's, found a wife. Harry was going to, build this family, and all these hopes and wishes of Harry and his brother, being in England together and building up this legacy, recognizing the tragedy of Diana and then building back up from that point and kind of going out into their own world, and showing the world what they want to give to us all. You know, with Heads Together, that Catherine, Harry, and William did the whole Heads Together thing with mental health. That was their thing. It was their thing, to talk about mental health, interesting enough. And then on top of that, Catherine was always so into, childhood development, children as well. So grappling with this reality of seeing Harry not married and active and what it seemed to be was healthy, what the general public was led to believe that, this was a safe and healthy situation for Harry. I don't think that we've ever had any real interviews or blunders except Las Vegas when he did strip poker in Las Vegas and when he wore the Nazi suit to a party. I mean, that was the only two things that I can recall in the media Harry acted out with, but I cannot really I can't recall when Harry, not married, ever went to the public and said that I'm, you know, majorly depressed. Every day I can't get out of bed, and basically that he hates his life. He hates. He has so much anger towards so many people, so many things to do with the royal family. I can't recall Harry ever doing an interview and saying those words. I know that there's been interviews with William and Harry separately and apart where as men they've both spoken about the fact that they don't want to be king. They don't, nobody lays awake at night wanting to be king. I can recall those interviews absolutely, but I can't recall the absolute emotion of unhappiness just complete and utter anger and detest and unhappiness for every fabric of his life. So before he married Meghan, it was never like that. And maybe he was still having those emotions, or maybe because he got married, those same, angry emotions were amplified. It's kind of hard to tell. We don't know if this is just something that has been triggered in him because he's married Meghan, and because he has children now, or was this something that was doormat? What were these emotions that he kept on the surface level behind closed doors when he wasn't married that we were not aware of? So there's so many layers to how we've gotten to this point and what we've seen with Harry and Meghan stepping down and all the tell-all interviews and, Oprah and Gail, basically being the mouthpiece for Harry and Meghan amongst other celebrities that tend to be fond of this couple for their own personal reasons. So it's a situation where, you know, I think that there's many lessons to take away from what's been going on with these celebrities. I mean, not just Harry and Meghan. I think we've seen so many celebrities of late, with the pandemic, who have been saying that they hate their lives, that they're depressed, they're dealing with this battle and that battle. And I think that, you know, um, like me and you, like I think that us regular people, like we have to well, no one's regular, so let's change that up. No one's regular, we're all special, but I would say us non-celebrity people, that's a better term. We a lot of people crave that. A lot of people crave to always be living these people's lives. And, I can proudly say that, I've always been the kind of person to say that I rather have, the wealth, the generational wealth, and the resources to help other people than opposed to being chased down the street by paparazzi, being made fun of, always being bullied. Like, I would not want to be famous, but I think that smart individuals can agree that they would love to have some, could be a small or huge amount of resources that they have, and not for vain or vanity necessarily, but to live a comfortable life, to live a comfortable life where you're not having to compromise your health or your energy to make a living. That's what's reasonable. I think what's reasonable is not having to compromise your beliefs, your passions, your what makes you happy just to make money. Like, that's not something that interests me, and I know it's not something that interests a lot of people out here, is to sacrifice every moment of their day, working a job or being in a career that brings them no joy, that brings them nothing, to their own personal lives. So I think that even though I've covered this couple, even though every 60-minute interview and every special and every film and every book that has come out since this couple's gotten married, for me, on a deeper level, I think that I'm still shell shocked. I'm genuinely shell shocked at how bad things have gotten for this couple, And for me, it's a situation where if this couple and their behavior and what they say really showed that they don't want to be celebrities, they don't want to be hounded, they don't want to be harassed, they don't want to be on every front cover, then the way that I would move would be different. The way that I would see them would be totally different. But the sad reality is we haven't got that. I think that the Oprah interview was really the beginning of the end, because
a lot of things that this couple said did not have to be out for everyone to know. Like, there's just certain things that happen within your own family that I feel other people don't have to know. You know, other people don't have to know every single fight that you've had with your father or with your sister or with the queen. If you're in Harry's shoes, I don't think that the public needs to know every disagreement they've had. And I think that it was silly. I think it's been so silly to see Harry talk so badly about his brother and his father when just 2 days ago it's been confirmed that he's still been supporting them. You know, they've still been talking here and there. They've still been in contact. It's not like the bridge for at least contact has been, or money has been completely burned. And I think that Harry should be so grateful. I think Harry should be over the moon that he's still getting supported. Like, he's still getting supported. And so, you know, that interview made a lot of us believe that, you know, tried to make us believe that these conditions that they were living in were so horrendous and so horrible, when a lot of privileges that they have, you know, a lot of us out here have never experienced. Some of us will never experience. Like, you know, not everybody's gonna have that moment where they're in a Rolls Royce or, you know, some plush, you know, exotic private hotel. You know, like, people, like, most people will never experience what these people experience. So even though sometimes I kind of pause and wonder, like, you know, what's the truth, what's not true, you know, my reading backed up this, and now this has come out, and this is getting so horrible, this is getting so out of control, I still come back into, you know, the pure thinking and say to myself, these people are very blessed and they should be so grateful. Like, they should be so grateful. But then it gets sour again. And right after you say to yourself, they should be grateful, then you go back to what they were saying, which is how they had no privacy, how they were not getting any help for their mental health issues, that they were suicidal, and all these things. So it becomes this, I think, very toxic situation. And so I just genuinely think that now that they have two kids, why not just go rogue? Like, delete the social media, you know, have Archwell, you know, keep in contact with loved ones. You know, why do they have to put their name, their likeness with Lifetime and other production companies and the OWN network? I think it's a big mistake. I think it's a complete mistake with them trying to say, okay, I want to step down from this royal life, but now as a celebrity, I want to be totally, you know, like this owl in a nest and no one can see me. But then all your actions right after that are saying, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. And so, you know, I can have a fair approach and say to myself that, you know, the smart thing to do is to get as much as you can from the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they want to play it like that, where they're just getting as much money as possible, and then once they make a certain amount of money, they're gonna just go ghost, that's fine. You know, I can understand that. But is that what they're gonna do? Like, is that what they're really gonna do? Is just, you know, drop a couple products here and there and then they're gonna back away? Or is this gonna be a situation where once Meghan gets off maternity leave, or if they both get off maternity leave, is this gonna be right back to chasing, you know, movie roles and chasing down certain directors in Hollywood to showcase them? So it's very confusing. Like, it's extremely confusing what they're doing. And I think the most common sense approach is to not live somewhere where the paparazzi is like a breeding ground. There are certain places in the world where paparazzi have their feeding ground, and California is number one, at least in America. I think Miami, Texas, New York would follow, Las Vegas even, but like these are all hot spots. These are all places, especially certain cities, where if you live in any proximity to other celebrities, the paparazzi are gonna want to be camping outside your house, and then it also brings up the concern of intruders and stalkers. Of recent, very recent, this couple has had those constant things where there's people outside of their house trying to get in. So this is crazy. Like, this is what I call a tragedy waiting to happen. And I did do a video a couple weeks ago talking about how I had an intuitive alert, and I felt very, very strongly that, there's a lot of energy around Meghan potentially getting taken out. I mean, translate that how you will, but there's just so many similarities to the rebellion and the resistance of Diana, and then with Meghan and Harry. It's so uncanny and so unusual. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, you've seen what happened to Diana. Okay, you see that the media is, I mean, the people were hating the name. People were hating the name that they even named their child. Can you imagine being an adult and millions of people are putting on websites and blogs, you know, grotesque things about your own child, whether it's from a surrogate or not, who really cares? But can you just for a second imagine that everything you do is hated? Everything you do is hated. That's a tall order. That's a hard life emotionally to have. Even if you're a very strong person, like even if you're incredibly strong, there's got to be moments where you're beside yourself and you question, like, is it worth it? And so, you know, I think that a lot of people are wanting to be common folk. I think a lot of people are wanting to be normal, like any version of normal that they possibly can. Even celebrities. A lot of times celebrities say, I'm a person just like you. And then a lot of people's response back to that is, well, you're not. You have millions of dollars, you have security, you have the latest designers, you have people writing about you. Like, you're not normal like us, you're not like me. And so it's hard. It's a hard territory, I think, for these people, I'm saying in general, to walk on every day. I don't think that it's what it's cracked up to be. I don't think that it's something that anybody should be wishing upon a star for. I mean, I know people try to, some people want to be famous. Some people, that's their goal in life, is to be world renowned. But then you have to kind of question, world renowned for what exactly? For discovering a cure for cancer, for being an athlete? Like, is it something that is worthy of that title, or is it just kind of for shallow purposes? So we all know that Meghan acts. She was an actress on a TV show called Suits. But what was Harry? Harry was, in the military, and that's it. Harry was not a Brad Pitt. Harry was not a George Clooney. Harry wasn't even a David Beckham. Harry was Harry, and he was, just seen as a prince. And so it's still so shocking to me that this is how it's all going down. And it's so unsafe. I think that the life that they're leading right now is a very unsafe one. And quite frankly, I'm going to take it a step further. I think that if they really want this privacy, don't show your child on social media. I know people are going to be feeling some kind of way because obviously, Katherine, when she had her children at the Lindo Wing, St. Mary's Hospital, Katherine would come out and present the baby to the world, but she didn't have a choice. Like we have to look at the reality. Like Katherine, once upon a time, Katherine had a personality. Katherine was a very bubbly girl. If we look back to videos and photographs of Katherine in college before she married into the royal family, she had more personality. She had a lot more freedom. And she was still wealthy. Her family still had their family business and she was still making money. That's a better alternative to me. Everybody else is going to think differently. I can only speak for what I'm speaking, right? I can only speak what I'm saying. I mean, I can't speak for somebody else, and what their opinion is. So we've seen the transformation. We've seen how this goes. Katherine dropped at least 40 pounds. Sometimes I think she's even a size 0, if not a size 4, 6, or she can't be a size 8. She's way too skinny. Katherine has become extremely petite, extremely skinny, very slender, to fit that profile, that elegant profile. Katherine also changed in a lot of ways as well. And over the years, I realized how much Katherine has changed and how much that Katherine had to sacrifice to be that perfect woman next to Prince William, to fit that narrative, that profile, that image of, being the perfect wife, the perfect mother. And the reality is, you all, is that it's not realistic. The pressure and the standards that these human beings have placed upon themselves, involuntarily or voluntarily, is not realistic. It's not realistic. And all of us can do is be our best selves. And it shouldn't be for shallow reasons. It shouldn't be for shallow reasons. It should only be for reasons to be, the happiest we can be for our loved ones and ourselves, the healthiest and the happiest. And so I think that people have also underestimated how much Katherine had to be molded, absolutely molded to be this perfect specimen for the royal family as well. And that's not spoken about enough. I've over the years, I've seen magazines show Katherine. There was actually a lot of reports that Katherine had bulimia, that she had eating problems, eating disorders, to be more specific. And that's come and it's gone. You know what I'm saying? There was magazines that used to cover that and then they stopped. So it's like, where do they draw this line between attacking someone and criticizing someone and stating the obvious? Where is the boundaries, what I'm saying? So now with Meghan, being biracial, to me, I just think that the whole thing is just preposterous. She's put herself in a position by marrying this man that she clearly, if she's being honest, and if that's really what she feels, she doesn't want to be that. She doesn't want to live that kind of fishbowl life. But judging by what she said and her actions, it made it seem like that's what she was chasing after, was to marry a high profile man, to marry a billionaire or a millionaire, to marry somebody who could give her a extravagant lifestyle. So it's very contradictory, right? So, these people want to have our lives now. These people want to have our lives because they're tired of the criticism. They're tired of being photographed. These people now they don't like their lives. They don't want to be watched and followed in that way anymore. I think that the money that these people, royal, non-royal celebrities, the money that these people have, they enjoy. They enjoy it. But I think on a deeper level, if you listen to what they say and how they're behaving, they're not happy people. And so, one of the many true reasons of existing and living life is to be happy. It's about also being happy. You can't be happy 24 hours a day, but my God, at least one day in the whole week, you should be able to feel the gratitude in your heart. My bracelet literally says gratitude. Yeah, and that's a reminder to myself of being present. You know what I'm saying? And so, it's just a very tragic situation. And I think that if you take away all the money, they're not happy. They're not living a happy life. They're not living a private happy life. They're not. And yeah, I definitely think that if they're really serious about not being as famous, not being in the public eye, that they would not show their daughter. Don't post your daughter, Harry and Meghan. Don't put any pictures up on your websites. Don't do it. Just say, you know what? Our daughter's face, our daughter's body, our daughter's likeness is not for sale. That's what a real parent does, that doesn't want their family to be hounded or found out about or researched. I mean, what's the purpose of that? Let's all really think about it. What's the purpose of posting a picture of your newborn baby? Like, if there's certain milestones or whatever, like, nothing's wrong with that. I don't think anything's really wrong with it, but I'm saying, like, if you're that level of famous, it becomes an issue. Like, for you and me, we can go on Instagram, we can go on Twitter, we can go anywhere and post, if we have kids, our kids, if we want to, because it's for family and friends and people at work that we work with. Like, for us, it ain't that big of a deal. But for these people like Harry and Meghan, putting a picture out of your daughter where there's been a lot of controversy about your pregnancies to begin with is a red flag. It's an issue. So you and I, we could do that and we could have fun with it, and we could share whatever we want. We could share whatever we want. But if you're Harry and Meghan, you can't do that, because the first picture that we're going to get of Harry and Meghan's daughter is going to be dissected. What designer did she wear? What colors? How does her face look? And for some people who are more crass and crazy, they're even going to ask about her skin color, which is horrible, which is weird. It's a weird situation. So, I don't want their life. I would, all these celebrities that I follow, that I even talk about, like right here, like covering the stories and giving updates for you all and for the collective, like, I would never want their life, because if everything you do is an issue, then how are you yourself? If every little thing, every second of the day is being calculated and being under observation by so many people, how do you breathe? How do you live your life happily? How do you do that? And the answer is you don't. And that's what we, people who read magazines or buy into their books or whatever, this is what we're realizing on a deeper level, is that these people are not happy. So you and I, regardless of whatever kind of success level that we all individually reach in our own lives, we have to be aware that there is a sacrifice that comes with that. You know, with more responsibility, with more fame, with more attention comes more pressure, becomes more scrutiny. So it's a double-edged sword. But I think that what we're realizing is there's more cons than pros. The main con, the main pro, excuse me, is the money. Okay, that's just the bottom line. The main pro of all these people that people look up to or watch or want to look up things about is the money. That's it. That's literally it, is the money. And so what happens when you take away that money? What happens when we hypothetically we look at Harry and Meghan and we take away that money off of their name or their image, and they're just like working class people, making an X amount of money a year, but they're not multimillionaires? Then what? Are they so special then? So it's a weird situation. It's definitely a weird situation that has been going down for so many years. And it's, for me, it's getting so weird to see that even with their children, it doesn't stop. Like, when you're raising your children, you want to raise your children in a way where they are normal kids that can play outside and visit their friends, and pick bugs or trees, and go to museums, and you know just be kids. And I think it's actually getting very, very troublesome to realize that this is not normal. They're not living in a way that's healthy, because, like, Harry already has a lot of anxiety. Harry already has a lot of anxiety. So I'd be very curious to see what you all have to say as well, respectfully. Do you all think that now, since the daughter is in the world, do you think that they're gonna, stop posting so much, or stop letting, journalists, get into their world? I mean, even the fact that Harry was telling Gail about William is strange to me. Like, why would you tell this, woman about your brother, knowing that this woman is going to go out to the whole world and leak your whole conversation that you've had with your brother? Like, to me, that is so strange. Like, why would, if you really want privacy, then why would you go to one of the most famous presenters and journalists in the world and tell Gail on the phone about your brother? Why would you do that? So, you know, like I said, if they really want a different life, a low profile life, don't post your daughter. Even fans of you guys that worship you guys, so what? They're gonna have to go without. They're gonna have to not see your daughter. Like, if you're really about that life, then you're not gonna post every day. You're not gonna be trying to let camera people in your private property, because, as far as I know, those cameras that did the interview were on their own personal property in their backyard. I would not allow that. If I don't want cameras, period, in my life that way, they're not going to even step foot on my property. We're going to go to a studio, we're going to go to maybe Oprah's house, but you're not going to come to my house. If I was Meghan, you're not coming in my house. I don't know who you are. I don't know what story you could sell. I don't know what you would try to make up. You have to think like that. If you're on that kind of level, you have to think smart. You have to be smart. You have to be intentional. So, I just think that I just wanted to share some kind of, you know, wisdom with everybody, and an update on what I see, what I'm feeling, what's going on, and let you all know that I think it's crazy. I think that this life, this path that they're heading on is insane. And so, stop posting, stop doing interviews, stop letting these big media giants use your likeness and your name. Stop telling people about your family's business. Stop allowing your father to talk about your business. Pay him off. Sit down with your father, Meghan, and tell your father that, listen, we're not going to do this. We want to live a normal life. Like, just be honest. You want a normal life. You don't want to be a celebrity. If that's the truth, if that is the core truth, tell your father that it's over. We're not going to go back to England. We're not going to be on TV. Meghan, you may have to not be an actress. You may have to throw away your occupation, because unfortunately, if you are a successful actress, you are going to get a lot of media attention. And not just because of the projects you're doing, but because you are a celebrity. By definition, you are a star. You're like, in the whole media world's perception, you're a target. Okay, and that's how I see it. I see these people as targets. I see them as walking targets to get shot down. That's how I see celebrities now. I see them as walking targets for harassment, for bullying, for robbery, for theft, for criticism. There's nothing positive. There's nothing positive to being a celebrity, except the money. That's it. The money, maybe having certain kind of friends that also can spend money. But what else is there? Like, what else is there about it? I mean, if you have talent and your talent makes you successful, you're stuck. Okay. But if you don't really have any kind of talent that's tied to being famous, and you're trying to be famous, that's a big mistake. So I think with Harry, you kind of have to wonder, if the reports are true that he wanted a Hollywood wife, or a well-known wife. Why was that? Why would you go for a girl, a woman that's high profiled? Why did you not go for a woman that came from a small town, or is uninterested in being famous? Why not that? Why not be smart about it and say, okay, well, if I really want to get out of the royal family, I can just simply date a normal person, and with that normal person's salary, we're gonna go off and get an apartment, and we're gonna go incognito. We're gonna move to a more secluded part of town. That's what you call not wanting to be famous. Not wanting to be famous is not going to the most expensive area with other celebrities and talking about it. That's not going to help them. That's not going to help any celebrity. So it's just about common sense. Like, you could still be a celebrity, but there's a lot of celebrities who are not always in the media. You know what I'm saying? Who are not always taking every opportunity because they have enough money. They've hit the $1 million mark, they've hit the $20 million mark, maybe even $100 million. And they've come out of the game. They've launched a business, and that's it. The business is not in their name. It's in another type of title's name. And they don't care. They don't care what the paparazzi have to say. They don't care what TMZ has to say. They don't care what we have to say. They don't care. They have their little money. It's not nothing little about it, but they have their money, right? They have their money, and they're not interested in getting everybody to talk about them. They're not posting nude pictures. They're not posting anything that would draw massive attention, is what I'm saying. So I think that if they do release their babies, any kind of picture with a baby, it's gonna draw attention. And so maybe in this case, they can't do that. Maybe, just maybe now, they're going to have to shut this all down, or it's going to be an issue. I think that I think that the choice was clear. You know, I feel in my heart that the choice was clear. You know, either they were going to be in England as working royals, build up the family, build up the brand and whatever, and work under the queen or for the queen, you know, for the monarch, or they weren't. And so because they've chosen to not work for the queen and to not work for the Commonwealth, they're celebrities. That's their choice. And until they move completely different, they can't expect the media to not put a story out every single day. Like, I'll be honest, like, there are some celebrities where they're popular, but there's not a story about them every single day. There are some celebrities where they're not, paparazzi don't even have a video of them. There's some musicians that have not been covered in months. And with Harry and Meghan, they're covered every day. I think almost every day there's a different story. And that's what I call insanity. I don't even know if the Kardashians get that kind of attention. I don't even think that the Kardashians or the Jenners get that kind of publicity. I don't even think they even get it like that. So I don't know. I don't know what the magic answer is for this couple. But what I feel is that if they really don't want to live that kind of life, they're going to have to scrap all that bullshit that they're on right now. They're going to have to sell that house, downsize, maybe go to a more secluded area of town, okay? Go more incognito, you know, wear more coverings, unfortunately, you know? Stop talking to certain people that go and sell stories about you, Harry and Meghan, because you got a couple snakes in your camp. You know what I'm saying? Stop going on tell-all interviews. All of that has to stop. If they're serious about this and they have 2 kids now, all of that got to stop. The red carpets. Got to stop going to red carpets. I know Kim Kardashian claims that she stopped going to those things. Miley Cyrus for a while stopped going as well. Okay, a couple of celebrities have stopped going to those type of award shows. You know what I'm saying? They stay home. They watch it at home. They don't go. Because when you go to those things, you're asking for attention. And that's just the bottom line. So I wish this couple the best. I wish other celebrities the best. But you and me, we gotta bask in this regularness. Okay, we gotta bask in being normal. We gotta bask in being common folk. Because they want our life now. They got the money, they've hit the milestones of life, and now one by one, these celebrities are coming up dead, missing, suicide, depression. They're worse off than you and me. We're making less money than these people. We're making way less money than Harry and Meghan. And we're more happier than Harry and Meghan. We're happier than them, which is crazy to me. We live a way more peaceful life than Harry and Meghan. Think about that for a second. So, love you all. I was going to pull some cards, but I really feel like there's not much to pull on. I was going to pull cards in regards to if they really want to get out of the what do you call it, out of the spotlight. I don't feel like I'm going to do that. I was going to pull cards and ask that question, but I think that this video kind of answered it for us. Okay? It's a trap situation. It's a trap situation. I made a different video. I may pull cards in a different video, but this video I think is just more of like a reality check for us all, including myself. I think it's more of a reality check video in terms of what's been happening with this couple. So don't post your daughter. Don't post Archie. You know, stop posting videos and all that. All of that has to stop. You know, maybe even having a more regular relationship with Oprah Winfrey, you know, not always being around her when she needs to, you know, to produce or film you guys. Maybe only be friends with her off camera, you know. Don't be friends with her when she got to be on her network. You know, like, set some boundaries. So thank you all for watching. This is just like a little update of what I've been observing in the media with this couple. You know, every day there's a story about them, and I can't understand why. You know what I'm saying? I mean, maybe Harry has to speak out about that. I don't know. But their actions are very contradictory. So that doesn't help either. All right. Thank you for